I'm Shalita Cyprian, the wife of Pastor Derek Cyprian.
And First Lady, Lady Sip.
Yes,
Yeah.
First Lady.
All right, good. I'm originally from Folsom, Louisiana, that big metropolis about an hour north of Louisiana. That's where I was born. I mean, north of New Orleans. I was born and raised there. It's a very rural area, one red light. Both of my parents are from Folsom, I'm related to about three-quarters of the people in the town. We grew up, my brother and I, as a family of four. My grandfather lived with us, which made five, and grew up in a modest home. Both of my parents were teachers, and my dad later became a principal. He was bivocational pastor. But we grew up rural area. Would grow all kinds of things from greens to peas to red beans to corn to okra, watermelon. Watermelon was the only thing that we sold. Everything else was just grown, and we would probably use about half of it, and about the other half we would give away to family and friends. But that was my childhood growing up. I don't know if
Oh, well, I'm from New Orleans, Louisiana, born and raised. Um, Lived there for all of my life until I relocated to Houston after marrying Pastor Cyprian. I am the youngest of three. I have two older brothers. I'm the only girl. And both of my parents, one taught school. My mother was a school teacher, and my father was a scientist. And I just enjoyed living life in New Orleans, especially the food and all the good things about the culture, the music, the jazz, all the festivals. Those are the things that I enjoyed most about growing up in New Orleans.
yeah. And I forgot to mention I'm the oldest of two sons, and I married the baby girl, and which is consistent with what my dad did. He married my mother was the baby girl as well.
Yes.
So I had some understanding as to the baby girl dynamics, whatever that may mean. But Shalita and I met, and actually originally met in college at LSU. Uh, Now we did not date in college. We knew each other, and we kind of ran in different circles. I knew her roommate very well because our roommate is a Delta and I'm an Omega, and we, brother and sister fraternity and sororities, and so I knew her roommate very well. But after graduating from college, she moved to New Orleans. I moved to Atlanta. Was in Atlanta for about 5 years, and then I moved to New Orleans to go to continue my education in law school. And while in New Orleans, I I was at the home of one of my fraternity brothers, talking to him and asking him, I don't know anybody here anymore. Can you introduce me to somebody? And he and his wife, after giving it some thought Shalita would be a nice match. And and so, knowing this particular fraternity brother like he is, he immediately calls her on the telephone, and then asks and gets an invitation for me for her and her roommate's Christmas party that they have every year. And then after securing that invitation for me to attend the Christmas party, he hands the phone to me and tells me to talk. And so I proceed to have a conversation, or to attempt to have a conversation. And then, about halfway through the conversation, Shalita finally tells me she actually had company. And so I went to the Christmas party, and we just kind of, it just kind of started from there.
Yes, yes. He came to the Christmas party, and as soon as I saw him, I recognized him from, again, being on campus around LSU. We didn't really, know each other well then or talk, but you know people when you see them. And so we had a good conversation. I think he had a good time at the party, and of course he got the digits before he left that night. And he actually waited a little bit before he called me, but he did call to say Merry Christmas, which I thought was very, very nice. And then from there, we proceeded to go on our first date, which was dinner at Houston's, and we went to see the movie Bugsy. Our second date, and this time he cooked, and then he took me to a play. Wow, that was a winner for me. Good food, again, culture, play. I was happy with that.